the season of evil.
Hey, it's Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek, and it's list time again, a spooky season list time. I've told you my top 10 favourite TV horror movies and shows, and I've told you my top 10 favourite horror movies, theatrical movies, and now finally, before we hit Halloween, I'm going to tell you my top 10 horror actors and actresses, and this is a countdown, starting at number 10, and number 1 is my favourite actor or actress. This should be fun, if I can remember all the information about them, which I probably won't, but anyway, never mind. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Explore the description for links for stuff like merch and me books and me other channels and me other websites and all that stuff. Or you can become a member of the YouTube channel, like Wingrace and Justin34 and Adam Gamer and Michael, and then you'll get the benefits of being a member, such as they are. Right, so my top 10 horror actors and actresses. No honourable mentions this time, it's just a straight list, a straight top 10 list. And at number 10, we're going in straight away, feet first. In at number 10, we've got Jeffrey Combs. Or is it Combs? I've heard it pronounced both ways. I've always said Combs. I know it's spelled Combs, but I'm British, so I'll just say it how I want to say it. Great actor, Jeffrey Combs. Probably most famous among genre circles for his Star Trek work. He's played lots of different characters in Star Trek, but he's a great horror actor as well. I'm sure he's done other stuff and all, but he's in the horror realm. He's probably most famous as playing Dr. Herbert West in the Reanimator films. He were also in From Beyond and many others. Dr. Mordred. Is that what it was called? It was essentially a Doctor Strange rip-off, but they couldn't get the rights to it. I think they'd made the film, but then they couldn't get the rights to it, so they had to change everything at the last minute. So yeah, we're in the Frighteners as well. He's a great actor, Jeffrey Combs, very popular on the convention circuit, and he's my number 10. At number 9, we've got Toni Collette, the Australian actress, who I don't think I've ever heard her speak in a natural Australian voice. Not that I can think of. But she's done some great horror films. She's in Hereditary, The Sixth Sense, Krampus, and I'm sure many others. But she's done lots of other stuff as well. But it's a horror fare that caught my eye. I love Toni Collette. She's one of my favourite actresses. I think she's really, really good. Particularly in The Sixth Sense and Hereditary, which were both amazing films. I've seen Hereditary once. I don't want to watch it again, but it is an astonishingly good film. But I just don't want to watch it because it's too scary. For me anyway. Or disturbing. It's too disturbing for me rather than scared. Trying to backpedal and show that I'm not a big girl's blouse, but I am. At number 8, we've got Linda Blair, young Linda Blair, not Linda Blair the woman. I'm talking about Linda Blair when she was a young girl. I can't remember how old she was. Was she 14, 12? I've forgotten. When she did The Exorcist, when she played Regan McNeil in The Exorcist. An astonishing performance, and it's that one performance as in the first Exorcist, not the second one, not Exorcist 2. Forget about that one. Or her appearances in Repossessed and other films, where it's kind of parodies The Exorcist. But the first Exorcist film, I think she was astonishingly good in that for a kid, and that's why she makes number 8 in my list. If you remember, The Exorcist was my number 1 horror film of all time. Right, so there we go. That's Linda Blair at number 8. At number 7, we've got Barbara Shelley. I don't know if you'll know who Barbara Shelley is. She's everywhere in Hammer films and other sci-fi and horror in the 60s, the late 50s and 60s. And she's a great actress. She can turn a hand to pretty much anything. She's a safe pair of hands. She's kind of glamorous, but she's also kind of ordinary, if I can say that. But yeah, she's great. She's she's in Dracula. No, she wasn't in the first Dracula. She was in Dracula, Prince of Darkness, and she was in Village of the Damned, Quatermass and the Pit, and many other films as well. She's a great actress, Barbara Shelley. She's got amazing eyes. But anyway, so that's Barbara Shelley at number 7. So we have 3 women all in a row there, didn't we? At number 6, we've got Donald Pleasance, the late great Donald Pleasance. Most famously, essentially this is because of his role as Sam Loomis in the Halloween films, but he's done loads of other horror films as well, and other genres as well. But he's kind of known as a horror actor, isn't it? It's kind of odd. I mean, when I was a kid, he used to appear on a commercial on TV for lager. I can't remember what it was for, what name of the lager was now, but it was marketed as the Odd Lager, and it was Donald Pleasance that appeared in those commercials. If you know what the lager it was, tell me in the comments. But yeah, most famous as his role as Sam Loomis in the Halloween films, all the way from the first one all the way up to I think Halloween 6, and he passed away. Essentially, he'd finished the film, but they had more to do in it, and they couldn't use him because he died, unfortunately. And I think in that film, it's made in his memories, in loving memory of Donald Pleasance. But so that to kind of reuse his voice, and so I think he died off screen in that. You hear him, screaming. But yeah, and he's been in loads of other stuff as well, like war films and all that. But another notable role for me, what is his role in From Beyond the Grave, an Amicus anthology film, and in that he played kind of like, I don't know, Angel of Death sort of character. He'll be a normal man selling matches and shoelaces, but he was really like the Angel of Death, sort of. But yeah, he was a great actor with Donald Pleasance, and apparently a really nice man. So that's Donald Pleasance at number 6. At number 5, we've got Vincent Price, the great Vincent Price. You might think, why isn't he higher up? Because we've got some amazing ones to come. The man with the voice and the moustache. He never changed, did he? Even when he was young, he still looked old, and when he was old, he still looked old. But anyway, he always was one of these actors that always looks old. But a great actor who can basically do anything. He can play the bad guy, he can play the good guy, and he's been in, did all the Roger Corman, not all of them, but been in lots of Roger Corman films back in the day in the 50s and 60s. And yeah, he's been in loads of stuff, hasn't he? Witchfinder General, one of his later films. And obviously famously did the voiceover in Michael Jackson's Thriller. So there we go. So that's Vincent Price. The great Vincent Price is amazing. The Fly is what when people say Vincent Price, I always think of the original The Fly from 1958-ish, around about that time. I always think of that. But I know he's done loads of other stuff. Mask of the Red Death, as a Witchfinder General, etc. Loads of other stuff. Pit in the Pendulum, etc. I think he did that. Right, so that's Vincent Price at number 5. At number 4, we've got Boris Karloff, who's obviously most famous for playing Frankenstein's monster in the Universal Frankenstein films, which I think he only played twice. I think he only did it twice in Frankenstein, and 3 times, sorry. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and I think Son of Frankenstein. And then afterwards, they got other people in to play the monster. Yeah, he did lots of other horror films, The Old Dark House, etc. All the way up to the 1960s. A great actor with a great voice. He kind of had a little bit of a lisp when he spoke in his normal voice. But people often say, he was an overnight success when he became Frankenstein, but he'd been an actor when he first played Frankenstein's monster. He was in his 40s, and he'd been acting for most all of his life, so he wasn't really an overnight success. But yes, that's Boris Karloff at number 4. We're into the top 3, the podium positions. At number 3, Bela Lugosi. Speaking of Boris Karloff, another stalwart of the Universal Monsters movies. Obviously, he played Dracula in 1931. An amazing voice, but he's done loads of other work as well. He was a great actor. People just think of him as being the voice, I'm a Count of Dracula, blah, children of the night, and all that. But he was a really, really good actor. Apparently a really nice man as well, who were kind of done dirty by Hollywood, I suppose you could say. All actors often fall into the, is it a trap in Hollywood where, you become successful, and then when you're not successful anymore, kind of your life kind of falls apart. It kind of a little bit did for him. But anyway. But yeah, he did Dracula. One of his best roles were in, I think they were in Son of Frankenstein, where he played Igor. Great role with his weird neck. Because they hanged him, and he said hung then, didn't they? They hanged him in that. Not to death, but it made his neck like that. They hanged me, all that stuff. And he went on to play Frankenstein's monster in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. And in the original Wolfman, he played a character called Bela. So Bela Lugosi was essentially the original Wolfman, because he played the werewolf that turned Lon Chaney Jr. into the Wolfman. So there we go. Anyway, so that's Bela Lugosi. Obviously his last film, Plan 9 from Outer Space, because he died before finishing it, and they replaced him with an actor that looked nothing like him. But anyway. And Martin Landau famously portrayed Bela Lugosi in the film Ed Wood and won an Oscar, but kind of fell out with the Lugosi family, because they said he wouldn't have swore as much in real life. But a great performance, and like I said, won an Academy Award for Martin Landau. So that's Bela Lugosi at number 3. At number 2, I think you might guess who my top 2 are going to be. They're kind of related, not in real life, but in their movies. At number 2, we've got Christopher Lee, Sir Christopher Lee. Obviously most famous for the Hammer Dracula films, but his first Hammer horror film was The Curse of Frankenstein, where he played the monster, or the creature, or whatever you want to call it. But then he went on to play Count Dracula in numerous films of varying quality. But he could turn his hand to pretty much anything. He was, a good guy or a bad guy. He was in some great films over the years: Devil Rides Out, The Creeping Flesh, Horror Express, To the Devil a Daughter, The Wicker Man. He was even a Bond baddie in Man with the Golden Gun. He could do it all, could Christopher Lee. Oh, and he even appeared in The Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf, which I don't think I've ever seen all the way through. But yeah, Christopher Lee, an amazing guy. And obviously Saruman in Lord of the Rings, and Count Dooku in the Star Wars prequels. But yeah, and he did a heavy metal album as well, didn't he? Which I've never heard, but like a thrash metal or doom metal album. I can't remember, but he did the lyrics in that. I don't think he sang. I think he just spoke. He did the William Shatner and just spoke the lyrics, and then there's all like ding 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 music in the background. I think. I don't know. I've not heard it.
I swear that I shall fight to keep the Lord.
Anyway, so that's number 2, Christopher Lee. And at number 1, my favourite horror actor of all time. And not just that, it could be my favourite actor of all time, to be completely honest, because I think he's amazing. It's Peter Cushing. Why was he never Sir Peter Cushing? I don't know. I think he had an OBE or something like that. He had a gong of some sort, but he should have been knighted. Christopher Lee was knighted, so Peter Cushing should have been knighted as well, even if it were posthumous, in my opinion. But an amazing actor who could do anything, like lots of the actors in this list. He could play good guys or bad guys. But he was most famous for playing Van Helsing in the Hammer Dracula films. But he was also in lots of other films, often with Christopher Lee, such as Horror Express. and the Creeping Flesh. He's great in the Creeping Flesh, kind of a tragic character who kind of goes crazy because of the love of his wife, his kind of a stray wife, yeah, kind of tragic in that. But he did lots of other stuff as well. He did a decent Yorkshire accent in From Beyond the Grave, and he could turn his hand at anything. And obviously he played Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. Even appeared in Space 1999, as did Christopher Lee and lots of other British actors. But yeah, so Peter Cushing lived in Whitstable. There's a song in the Peter Cushing lives in Whitstable. I have seen him on his bicycle. I have seen him buying vegetables. Peter Cushing lives in Whitstable. I've no idea who sang it, but if you watch QI with Alan Davis and Stephen Fry, they mention it in an episode. Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing lives in Whitstable. He goes shopping on his bicycle.
Yeah, apparently a lovely man. Whose wife passed in the early 70s, I think only in 1970 or 1971, and it devastated him. He was never the same after. He's always looked, again, like Vincent Price, one of those actors that's always looked old, even when he was young. He's always had this like gaunt appearance, his high cheekbones, and all that. But after his wife's death, it kind of became more prominent. He flung himself into his work. And he finally passed away, I think in 1995. But he should have been knighted, in my opinion, but he never was. So there we go. So my number one horror actor of all time, Sir Peter Cushing. From now on, I'm going to call him. So there we go. So that's my list. That's my top 10 horror actors and actresses. At number 10 we had Jeffrey Combs. At number 9 we had Toni Collette. At number 8 Linda Blair. At number 7 Barbara Shelley. At number 6 Donald Pleasance. At number 5 Vincent Price. At number 4 Boris Karloff. At number 3 Bela Lugosi. At number 2 Christopher Lee. And at number 1 Sir Peter Cushing. I know he's not really a sir, but he is in my mind. It'd be Lord Peter Cushing if I had my way. But there we go. So, right, we'll leave it there. So I hope you enjoyed that list. I'm sure you will disagree with me on many of those. And put your list in the comments down below. Your top 10 actors and actresses, horror actors and actresses. I deliberately didn't include actors that had portrayed people like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or these horror slasher icons. But lots of different people have played those actors, people like Kane Hodder and all that, Tyler Mane, etc. But I deliberately didn't include those because it's not really acting, is it? Well, it is, but you know what I mean. They're just stabbing people. So anyway, include your list down in the comments. So we'll leave it there. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. It will really help the channel. So thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other, don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say this.
Now is the season of evil.